I would also agree with the speakers. I've been attending a lot of these master plan meetings, and for instance, I was at Otis last night, and they were speaking, which is on the same side of town, and yes, they do seem to have an increase in enrollment, a lack of capacity, and this arrangement, this package, if you will, takes property away from the east side of town. But from when I look at it, I don't see any real property being traded or somehow conveyed back to the school district on the east side of town. Is that correct? What the district will receive is on the west side of town. We're talking about property at the point.
Yes, and that property went through a proper 7-Eleven committee, and in that 7-Eleven committee, the overarching recommendation was that we did not need that property.
However, I would agree with the speaker that that is no longer relevant information, and in fact, I don't think it did ever come to fruition, and that did not come to the school board. So I actually don't believe we have completed the process. We've never made a declaration that it is surplus property.
No, but the report came to the board from the 7-Eleven committee. And that report clearly stated that we did not need the property. This board was never asked to surplus that property. Those are two different things.
So legally, can the board surplus property that we have not declared as surplus property?
We're not asking the board to surplus this property in this deal.
So we can get rid of property without making a declaration that it is surplus?
The structure of the transaction is, rather than being a sale or a lease, which requires a surplus, it's an exchange in kind with another public agency, and it's governed by a separate set of rules.
I'm sorry, can you speak in the mic? I can't
Oh,
hear
I'm sorry. I said rather than being structured as a straight sale or lease, which requires a surplus, it's an exchange with another public agency, which is governed by a different set of rules and doesn't go through the surplus process.
Okay, so if we were selling it, we would have to make a declaration. If we were selling it to the city, would the school board have to make a declaration of it being surplus before selling it? Was that your point?
Before selling it outright?
So I thought you were trying to make you were differentiating somehow.
Well, I'm sorry, that was the question was phrased to me, was could we dispose of the property, and there's a way we can do it with this exchange that doesn't go through the surplusing process.
Because it's an exchange? Okay, so can you elaborate on what that means?
This is coming awfully close to giving legal advice to the board in public, and so I want to be respectful of that and hear from other folks.
Okay. So somehow it sounds like because it's an exchange as opposed to a straight conveyance that we don't have to go through the surplus process. So my preference would be